You okay, Hala?
Yeah. At least it's gonna be
You just get the luxury ride down in the bed.
So we're back. Little, yeah. Anyway.
This is the fun one.
Yeah, this is fun one. We promise. So part 2. Talking about labor. Yeah. But we should say thanks to Hala first because she's working hard till 36 weeks. Even she moved here. She working, go to work there, 2 hours trains. So after 36 weeks, she quit, and then we are going to, we should transfer hospital to Sydney one to here.
Where we live now.
Yeah, here. So we went there, and then they said, Sage speed small.
So I joined a midwife group here, which is so amazing, and I totally recommend it. My midwife is awesome. Yeah, so they did ultrasounds because they were having trouble getting my documents from the other hospital, and they noticed that Sage is a bit on the smaller side.
I was afraid to hear after hear that, so I decided to quit my job because when I moved here I worked 2 jobs, so I want to work.
He was working 7 days a week.
7 days to save more money.
Yeah.
They just have a.
She got it.
Oh, she bought it. Okay. Oh, yeah. So Korean story. Okay. Yeah, so there is just only 2 staff working there. So if I have to go to a hospital, one person has to work. So I felt really bad. So I said, oh look, I have to quit because I have a few excuses to go hospital, I think.
Yep.
All the time. After that, so maybe you should looking for another person.
Yes.
And after that, I quit that job. Stop finding his age. And after that, I always go to a hospital together to check up. When we are going to a hospital, we did a lot of ultrasound suddenly because baby was small.
Yes.
And then they said head was okay. Head was 30. Yeah, if it's 50 is average. Her head was 36% something. Body was 12%. So that thing what they worried that time.
Under 10% is worried.
Mm-mm.
So because I was just on a line,
Yes.
I was no longer able to give birth at the same hospital.
Yes.
Because they only did like
Natural one.
Completely natural. If you had any sort of complications, you can't give birth there because they don't have any actual doctors.
Yeah.
It's midwives.
And the midwife recommend her to drink chocolate milk a lot and
Eat a lot of food.
beef a lot. So we bought heaps of chocolate milk.
Yes, because
and
I was
beef.
I'm naturally quite thin.
Oh yeah. So after that, we try our best, and then we were waiting Sage to do natural labor.
Yeah, well, they at 39 weeks they offered me to have an induction, which I declined because she was actually growing, and at that point she was in the healthy range. But because she was just on the cusp.
Yeah, and then after doctor saw me, he said should be okay.
Should be okay because Asian babies generally are smaller.
Yes.
So then we're like, oh thank God, like they were like, there's actually no problem. That's so basically they told us she'll be fine, but still we'll keep you monitored.
Yes.
So the midwife said that I could give birth at the midwife center now because she was cleared. However, I was overdue. Yes. At this point, I was 41 weeks. No, when I was
40.
When
40
I was
weeks.
40 weeks.
Yes.
When
We have another doctor appointment.
Yes.
And then another doctor recommend us to do induction because it's overdue, and then when she was 36 weeks she was a bit small, so they recommend to do induction. So we said okay, when it's overdue we're gonna do it. And
2 or 3 days before I was going in for my induction, I decided to get a membrane sweep because I had had absolutely no symptoms of labor. No Braxton Hicks contractions. Nothing, literally nothing.
Yeah, so again we are starting to worry.
So we went to the doctor, and because we had a scheduled appointment, we had appointments every like 3 days at this point. And I decided to get I decided to get a membrane sweep, which I had been pushing off because it's really uncomfortable and painful. You can Google that if you don't know what it is. I'm not going to explain it. Yes, so I got that done. She said if in 24 hours nothing happens, then it didn't work. 24 hours went past, nothing happened. However, the day of the induction, ta-da, mucous membrane came out.
Oh, what is mucous membrane?
It's really gross. You can Google it.
Oh, okay.
So that was the first sign of labor. That was the first sign of labor that I had ever had, although that's not really an indication anyways. But I remember thinking, if they just gave me one more day, I would have had it naturally.
So we went to another hospital, can do induction.
So basically we came in the afternoon and they hooked me up to a monitor, which I don't remember what it was checking, checks for contractions. They told me it would take about 10 minutes, but because Sage kept moving, the baby has to lay still for it to work. Sage kept moving, so I was there for about an hour and a half on this monitor, laying on the bed. And eventually that was all fine. After they checked my like resting, I don't know what they were checking, but the resting rate, they then put in a pessary.
The jelly?
Feel free to Google that. It's like a piece of tape.
Yeah.
And they leave it inside.
The stick?
Yes. And it basically just softens the cervix. Sorry, there's someone out there. So as soon as I put that in, I was then hooked back up for another 10 minutes. It actually took another hour and a half because Sage kept moving.
And then you felt really painful, right?
I felt some slight back pain, but I thought it was just because I needed to pee. Like I thought I'd been sitting here for like 3 hours. I need to pee, but I can't get up because I'm locked onto this monitor. So when they took that off after a long time, I went to the bathroom. And when I came back out, I realized that the pain was still there. It hadn't gone away. It wasn't contractions because it was a constant pain, back pain. It wasn't that bad until it started getting quite worse, I would say.
Yeah.
So I knew that they said if you take a shower, you'll feel better, the warm water, whatever. So
and then
I decided to take a shower. When I went into the shower, I was gonna actually take off my makeup because I wasn't supposed to be. The induction actually started the next morning.
Yes.
So I was gonna take off my makeup and put on my pajamas and whatever.
Make you comfortable?
Luckily, I kept it on because I suddenly was so cold and was in so much pain. I was sitting in the shower like this, like I could not even. I was really scared. I was like, I need to come out and like get your help, or I need to unlock the door or something just in case something happens. But I could not leave the hot water because I was freezing cold and shaking so much. It was really weird. And I had watched a lot of labor stories and videos, and no one else had mentioned shaking and being very cold. Anyways, it was actually very scary. I don't know how to explain it in a way that was as serious as it was, but yeah, I was really worried. Eventually, when I finally got the courage to quickly run to get a towel, like I'm not even kidding, I didn't want to leave. I was in there for like an hour.
I was worried
Quickly
too.
I ran to get my towel and put on clothes, blah blah blah, and then I came out and I think I was crying, right?
Yeah,
And I was in a
All the
lot of pain
time?
at this point. I didn't want to call in any of the nurses
because
I'm not that person that asked for help. But you were like, you need to call them in right now.
Yes.
So he went over to get the little buzzer that you call them in with, and he pressed it, and I started yelling at him because I didn't want him to press it because I'm shy. Anyways, they came in and I said, I'm in a lot of pain, can I get some medication? And they said, oh sure, you can have a Panadol. So she got me a Panadol, maybe like, I don't know, it took a while, but anyways. She got me a Panadol, I took it. No one thought I was in labor at that point, but I was feeling some quite bad pain. Again, constant pain, no really contraction. So after she left, you know, we were just kind of hanging out, and I was like still really upset, really painful, and it got really bad to the point where I actually threw up pretty much everywhere, on the floor, in the sink, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
all over my clothes, in my hair. This man, thankfully, was really kind and really sweet, and he just cleaned everything up. He said, it's okay, vomit as much as you want, I got this, I'll clean it. So then we called the nurse back in because again we were concerned, not thinking I was in labor yet, not knowing what was happening, still freezing, still couldn't stop shaking. I was wrapping myself in a billion blankets. Nurse comes back in. I said, I think I'm in labor. She was like, okay, let's check your contractions. She brought me a bouncing ball to bounce on, and I said, I'm so sorry, I threw up, by the way, everywhere. By this point, the pain started to break off into sections, but it was obviously getting worse and worse. My contractions were never far apart, which is why I never thought I was in labor. They were always 1 minute, maybe 30 seconds apart, right?
Yes.
They were very close together the whole time. And I know that's not usually how it works, so I was very confused.
Okay, so,
The doctor said, your contractions aren't lining up into what they should be.
Yes.
So you're probably not in labor. She said you're probably just in like pre-labor. This isn't, you're probably going to be going through this all night, is basically what she said. Which was very depressing. So then she left. Worse, pain gets worse, everything gets worse. We call her back in because I am pretty much unable to move at this point. I'm on my hands and knees screaming.
And then you hold your button.
Yeah, so we called them in. I think we called them in like at least 10 times, I swear to God. We called them in again. And then I'm wrapped in blankets and I'm sweating, I'm pretty sure. And I was shaking and screaming, kind of, during my contractions. And then she checked my head and she said, oh, you've got a fever. She got the temperature thermometer out. She checked me, she's like, you've got a fever.
Nearly 40.
Yeah, so she was like, okay. So then she quickly went back out. She called up a bunch of doctors.
Yes, like 20.
A bunch of doctors came into the room.
And then I never seen this situation. I never heard about it. And then imagine you're not good at English, and then there is a 20 doctors coming,
And you
then,
don't know why.
Yes, and then you don't know why. And then I was just sitting, standing corner there, and then I just worry. And then I just worry like this, like, oh, what should I do?
So I basically had a few doctors checking different things. One putting needles in this arm, one putting needles in that arm, taking my blood, putting stuff in, blah, 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 blah,
Yeah,
blah.
because it said 1% just...
Yes, it's very unusual to have a fever during labor. Usually means infection or something like that, or something else, I don't know. So they wanted to check what was the reason, which I never actually found out. I didn't have an infection though, but I don't know what it was. And I'm pretty sure they said if this continues, we might have to do a C-section.
Oh yeah.
Because a fever distresses the baby. So then I was like, oh, well that makes so much sense as to why I've been like shaking this whole time, why I've been freezing and whatever. So yeah, that answered my questions. Yes, and they said you have to hold still during this contraction because I need to take your blood. So I had to lay there very still while I had a contraction so they could take my blood. And at that moment, I told the doctor, I really need to pee.
Yes.
And he said, please don't pee on me. And I said, it's okay, I won't. And at that time, I thought nothing of it because usually if the baby's coming, you feel like you need to do
Pushing.
the back version of that. But I felt like I needed to pee. The back version? I didn't think I was about to push. Again, I'm not really like hyping this up, but I was screaming. It was really painful. As soon as the doctors leave the room, a contraction comes and I feel it. My body pushes naturally and I say to Lee, get the doctor, the baby's coming. So Lee, you want to tell your part now?
Yeah, I went out and then I was looking for midwife and then there is none.
They just disappeared.
Because there are like
A lot
around 30 rooms there and then
Yes.
they have to check all the
Yes.
women.
We had our own room, by the way.
So I can't
Public.
find one. So I came back to the room and then I said to Kala, I can't find this.
And I said, I don't care, I'm gonna have a baby. Go get the doctor.
Luckily, I found one.
Yes.
And then she came to us and then Kala said, oh, I think I have to push.
Yes.
And
So at this point, they still hadn't checked my cervix at all throughout the whole thing. It had been about 3-4 hours.
Yeah, but midwife didn't believe us.
Yes.
Because it's not...
She said if you can still talk during a contraction, it's not a labor proper contraction. So even though they had just come in when I was like fully ready, they still didn't think I was properly in labor yet. I finally asked, can you check my cervix? And she finally did. She and then pulled her hand back out, and the first thing I noticed was her hand was covered in blood. And she said, okay, you ready? And I said, am I 10 centimeters? And she said, yeah, you're 10 centimeters, you ready to go? And I was like, what the hell? Suddenly, I became a different person. I was so depressed and upset and wanted to like shoot because it was so painful.
Yes.
As soon as they told me I was ready to give birth, bubbly, happy Carla, the happiest Carla you've ever met, appeared. Happiest, most confident Carla came out. Insert video. So they quickly wheeled me downstairs whilst I'm having contractions, screaming through the hallway in the elevator. That was fun.
She's feeling pushy, but she's fully. Just breathe. Breathe through those pushes. Not pushing yet, okay?
We'll take you down to a nice room downstairs, okay? And then we'll talk about earlier. In and out. Nice big mouth and slow as you can. Come on. Okay. Breathe. Can someone stay? Breathe. I'm staying. Alright. I'll look after you. Good luck.
You okay, Carla?
Yeah. At least it's gonna be
You just get the luxury ride down in the bed. No walking for you.
It's good. Carla.
Apologies in advance.
It's alright, it's alright. It's okay, it's okay. Carla.
How many hours was
You
that?
just
If I'm on the bed when we make it downstairs, you know.
now you should try.
I think she would establish labour probably around 8.
Yeah, I don't want to see too. I don't want to see
is
again
it?
too.
9:30 now.
Oh.
It's going quick.
Yeah, we came into the birth room and you called my mum.
Yeah, I
Yes.
called.
And did you call your mum?
Yes, both of them.
He called both the parents. The new doctors were getting prepared. So I was cracking jokes the whole time. I mean, in between the screaming, like the 30 seconds in between the screaming, I was cracking so many jokes and having the time of my life. It was actually great. But then the pain was horrible, of course. The worst pain you've ever felt in your life. Like, I've never screamed so loud in my life. Like, it's like
Yeah,
top
everyone
of my
seems
lungs.
happy.
Yeah, but we're all excited.
Oh yeah, it is coming.
Yay, baby's coming.
Yeah.
Seriously. I'm so sorry for swearing. I don't usually swear at all. And I'm not usually this talkative as well. Alright, Lee.
Yeah.
Getting this thing out.
Now, my darling, there will be one point where I say to you, I want you to push really slowly, like you do little pushes, little breaths. That will be just as, just like little ones like that.
I had asked them like 20 times, can I have an epidural? But they said no because I'm not in labor yet. So yeah, so then I just double checked at the end, so I can't have an epidural. She said, no, you have to do this naturally. It's coming right now. So then we had about 20 minutes of pushing. And then she said, would you like to feel the head? And I said, no. But basically it was time to shook.
Yes.
It was very painful. It felt like I was being torn in half, and I was being torn in half. Seiji came out screaming.
Yeah.
Like I said, I had no medication, not even gas and air. I had nothing. It was just like, suddenly I was in the room and I'm giving birth. What else happened? I
So we have this.
had Miss Seiji. Here's a photo of her when she was born. By the way, I made him stay up my head the whole time, like he was not allowed to go down anywhere.
We decide.
Yeah, we both decided that it's the best for our family. Yep, so after they did that, I had to give birth to the placenta. It just came out on its own. Then after that, they pump your stomach, like literally pump it, and then everything else comes out, blood and whatnot. There was blood all over me. It was great. It was a great time. No, but there was blood everywhere. It was crazy.
Yeah.
There was even blood on my pillow, and I was like, how did that get there?
Okay. She wants to.
And then they did the stitches, and luckily when they did the stitches, I did get gas and air. I couldn't stop laughing. Yeah, so that was actually quite fun. So yeah, that was it.
Yeah, and then after 2 or 3 hours, she did makeup, and then she said she wants to go back home.
Me?
Yeah, you said it.
Oh, really?
Well, we need to check up the baby, and then she has a fever, so fever. Yeah, fever.
Fever, so I
Yeah.
had to get antibiotics for the next 3 days.
They have to check up everything,
Yeah.
make sure she's healthy. Her parents coming, her grandparents coming, sisters coming, everyone's coming to congrats, and then put some flower.
Yeah,
gave us
flowers.
food, everything.
Pizza.
Yes.
Oh yes, when we came back after giving birth, we gave birth at 10. We came back to our room at 2 and we had pizza left over.
Yes.
So thankfully I was so hungry I got to eat pizza.
Yes.
How was it traumatic for you?
Yeah, it was not fun, but yeah, it's good to.
The end part was fun.
Yeah, end part was fun.
Sage is screaming.
Yeah, so
it's
time to go.
Thank you for watching, guys.
See you.
Anyways, thank you. Bye.